Hi, my name is Jennifer Austin, and I'm going to do a demonstration speech today about how to make guacamole. Here's my NEO ID. And then my audience today, we have 6 audience members. And then also my mom is holding the visual aids. And then I also have the cameraman, which is my husband. Have you guys wanted to start doing a little dinner party for your families or a little get-together? Or maybe have the guys come over for a little game night and you thought, oh shoot, I don't have very much time, so I need to make something quick and easy. Well, I've got the perfect recipe for you. We're going to make guacamole. So there are 3 things that you're going to need to know. You're going to need to know the materials that you're going to use, the ingredients that it takes for the recipe, and then also the steps on how to put it all together. So the first thing that we're going to go over are the materials that you need. So the materials that you need are 2 bowls. We're going to have 1 bowl to mix everything together and 1 bowl for the trash. Then you need a knife and a cutting board to cut the vegetables. And then you need a measuring cup to measure things in, like the onions. You need 2 different measuring spoons. I have a 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon. You need a fork to mash everything up. And then you need a spoon for like scooping out the avocados. So now that we know the stuff that we need to use, the materials, let's go over the ingredients. I've given everybody a recipe card, and that'll be the recipe that we're making guacamole today. And how I found that was I went to allrecipes.com. So let's go over the ingredients, okay? We need 3 avocados. I'd like to show you how to pick out a good avocado before we move on to the next ingredient. So you want to look at this. This one is dark. It's nice and soft. If you get an avocado that is green, a lighter green, and then hard, that means that it's not ripe. So we need one that's kind of nice and soft. Now if it's too mushy and your hand about goes through it, then that means it's too ripe. Now that you know about how to pick an avocado, we also want to talk about the other items. The other items like 1 teaspoon of salt, and then 3 tablespoons of cilantro, a lime, and we're going to squeeze that. Also the lime, you want to look at it too. You don't want to get one that's really, really green or one that's really, really yellow. If you get one that's too green, that means it's over-ripened. And if you get one that's too yellow, that means that it's still raw. It hasn't fully developed. So the next thing is that we need are 2 Roma tomatoes, and we need minced garlic. Now this minced garlic is already done, and this is what I would prefer to get. But you can always get the garlic and mince it up yourself, but this is a faster route, so I use the minced garlic. So, now that we know all of the ingredients that we're going to use and the material that it takes, let's go over the steps that it takes to make a yummy guacamole. So here's a few steps that we have. We want to wash our hands first. And then you want to prep and wash the vegetables, and I've already done that. Like, whenever you get cilantro, it's going to come in a bundle, and so you want to rinse it out because it can have dirt and stuff in it. The next thing we're going to do is dice our onions, and I've already prepared these ahead of time, so it'll be a lot faster. But whenever you do dice an onion, you want to look at it, and you want to cut the top of it off and then peel off the layers and then dice it up. And you can just pick on how thick you want that. So now we want 2 Roma tomatoes, and I'm going to show you how to dice those 2. The first thing you want to do is cut the top of it off, where the stem is. And then you're going to I slice down the middle. That's how I cut. And I flip them up because it's actually easier to cut a Roma or any tomatoes with it up. And I'm going to chop it kind of big. Once I chop that, I'm going to put it into my bowl with the onions. cilantro. Now you see on the cilantro that it has the stem on there? We don't want the stem. The stem really isn't edible. So what we're going to do is we're going to just pinch off the tips of it. And then once we do that, we'll just throw the stems away. And then I put this on my cutting board, the cilantro, and then we're going to chop it up really nice and finely. Okay. And the recipe calls for 3 tablespoons, but I don't like a lot of cilantro, so I'm just going to put like a pinch in. And I'm going to discard the rest of this, or save it for later. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut an avocado. And I don't know if many of you have cut an avocado before, but there's kind of an art to it. So what we're going to do is there's a little tip up here where the stem was. We're going to cut the lengthways all the way around like a big old circle. Once we've done that, we're going to twist it off. And you see that pit in the middle? We want to get that pit out, but it's so slimy that we can't get it out with our fingers. So we're going to use this knife, and we're going to tap at the top until it gets in there nice and tight. We're going to twist and pull it off, and then put that in the trash. Now I'm going to take my spoon, and I'm going to kind of chop it up, and then put it in my bowl. Throw that away, and do the same thing to the other end. Now we've got all that together, let's do the extra stuff that we have here. We need some salt. We need, how much salt? We need 1 teaspoon. So I'm just going to use a little shaker and get probably not quite a teaspoon in there. Mix it in, depending on how salty you want it. And then I need a teaspoon of garlic, minced garlic. So I'm going to put my little 1 tablespoon in there. You can use a knife to level it off. Make sure you have exactly 1 teaspoon, and then put it in with everything else. And I need a lime. So I'm going to cut down the middle too. Well, kind of like an avocado. Here's the pit, or here's the stem of it. I'm going to cut lengthwise and cut it in half. You can do this either way. And then I'm going to squeeze. It's a good cleaner for your hands too. So that's all the ingredients. Now that you've got them all in their bowl, you're going to mash it all together. And now you can mash it until there's hardly any consistency, or you can mash it and let there be chunks. It depends on how thick you want your guacamole to be, like how chunky you want it to be. Now we've got our guacamole made. Just to let you know, the guacamole isn't just for a dip. Guacamole just isn't for dip. You can also use it as little extras, like putting it on tacos is really good, or maybe putting it on burritos, or my favorite is chimichangas. So this is a fast and easy recipe that we've made today. So let's get this party started. Oh, I forgot to mention something. These are the cue cards that I used.